Chiropractors care for patients with neuromusculoskeletal issues. In this video, we're going to help you answer the question, should you become a chiropractor in 2020? We're going to go over the latest salaries, job market statistics, and the latest trends. Coming up. Hey everyone, Stephen Hack here with CareerWatch, where I help you with your career search. If you end up enjoying the video, hit that thumbs up to support the channel. All the charts and graphs in this video are available on my blog at www.careerwatch.co. Chiropractors have a number of roles and responsibilities. They care for patients with neuromusculoskeletal issues, which includes nerves, bones, muscles, ligaments, and tendons. Chiropractors use spinal adjustments and manipulation to manage the health problems of their patients. They assess a patient's medical condition. They analyze a patient's posture, spine, and reflexes. They take x-rays of patients. They advise patients on health and lifestyle issues, and they also refer them to other healthcare professionals when needed. Regarding becoming a chiropractor, I found a really great Reddit post, and this is from the Chiro Dude. I'm a chiropractor for about 2 years now, recently graduated from Life College in Georgia. My father is also a chiropractor. If you're thinking about becoming a chiropractor, I can tell you that our profession is incredibly unique. This field as a whole is not just about cracking bones, it is about teaching others about a healthy, alternative, holistic lifestyle and what they can do to live a better quality of life. If you're good at that, you will find tremendous fulfillment in what you do. However, I must tell you that this profession has with it many risks and unfortunately many cons. For one, this occupation is not viewed very well in media. Many public opinions associate us with back-cracking witch doctors who cause strokes and don't agree with modern medicine. Less than 7% of the population sees a chiropractor. In government studies for consumer trust, we rank just above used car salesmen. We'll go over the pros and cons of becoming a chiropractor a little bit later in the video. For now, let's go over the compensation of chiropractors. This data is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It doesn't include overtime, and it also doesn't include the compensations of business owners, of which there's quite a few chiropractors that own their own practices. We'll get into that a little bit later in the video. For now, this is employed chiropractors. In 1999, the average base salary for a chiropractor was $70,930. This base salary hit a high in 2004 at $87,390. Unfortunately for chiropractors, they haven't seen wages this high since 2004. Wages slid from 2004 to 2015, reaching a bottom of $78,370 in 2015 before starting to rise again. The average base salary for a chiropractor rose to $85,010 in 2019. It's actually very rare for occupations to see pay decreases, so chiropractors are very unique in this sense. And again, this is employed chiropractors. Overall, over this 20-year period, there was a gain of about $14,000 in average base salaries. This comes out to an average yearly wage growth of $700. But yeah, there was this huge gap where chiropractors were losing money from 2004 to 2015. Using $704 as an average yearly wage growth, we can predict chiropractors' average wages over the next 10 years. And by 2029, chiropractors should see an average base salary of around $92,000 if that average continues. Another thing to consider is geography definitely plays a huge role in the compensation of employed chiropractors. In fact, there's almost an $80,000 difference between the lowest paying state for chiropractors and the highest paying state for chiropractors. The lowest paying state for employed chiropractors is the state of Utah, with an average base salary of around $48,000, and the highest paying state for chiropractors is the state of Connecticut, where the average base salary is around $127,000 per year. Other high paying states include Connecticut, Washington, New Jersey, Ohio, and Hawaii. When you compare the base salaries of employed chiropractors, the pay distribution is huge. At the 10th percentile, chiropractors are earning around $35,000 per year. The median base pay, not the average, the median base pay is around $70,000, and the top 10% of chiropractors start at $148,000 and go up from there. So there's huge differences in pay among chiropractors. By work environment, physician offices tend to pay chiropractors more money than chiropractor offices, and this is almost a $20,000 difference in pay. Here's how the pay of chiropractors stacks up against somewhat similar occupations. They are vastly out-earned by dentists. The average base salary for a dentist is $183,000 per year. They're also beat out by occupational therapists, although not by much, only by $1,000. They are also beat out by physical therapists by about $5,000. Chiropractors do out-earn speech-language pathologists. One huge variable, though, is chiropractors that own their own companies. 31% of chiropractors own their own practices, and this is extremely high compared to other occupations. There's actually more self-employed chiropractors by percentage than there are dentists, plumbers, electricians. 31% is huge. Almost 1 out of every 3 chiropractors is self-employed. Regarding becoming a self-employed chiropractor, I found this Reddit post by Kibitz. This person writes, "It's a great career, but you need to go into business on your own. You need to have low overhead and you need to try to help as many people as you can. It is possible to have a large office with multiple staff and docs, but there is so much effort and overhead with it, and I think it isn't worth it. I've known a chiro who had a huge practice with tons of staff and other docs, and you would think he was extremely successful, but he was forced to drive a beat-up old vehicle because the overhead was too much. I think a great goal is to see 100 patient visits each week, which is not difficult. At $50 each visit, that is $20,000 each month collections, or $240,000 annually. Even with $10K each month for overhead, which can be high, that still leaves $120,000. I see about 120 patients each week, and I work about 32 hours. I don't work weekends. I take long lunches. I don't open until 9 a.m. This occupation can be very successful if you have a good plan going in, which just about everyone in every management group will try to convince you their plan is the best. I love being a chiropractor. I get to work indoors with low stress, and people come in and are happy to be here. I can't think of many other professions where your clients, patients love you and you love them in return. How many other professions give you the opportunity to take more time off to spend with family?" Regarding this post, I kind of disagree with that last part. There's plenty of occupations out there where you get to really connect with patients. One similar occupation to this would be occupational therapist. I did a video on this. This is also another great career to go into. So Kibitz briefly talked about the job market, which is what we'll go into next. The number of employed chiropractors has been growing over the past 2 decades. In 1999, there was about 11,540 employed chiropractors. By 2019, this grew to 35,010 employed chiropractors. So the number of employed chiropractors has actually almost tripled over the past 2 decades. Regarding the geographic distribution of chiropractors across the country, it is extremely uneven. Obviously, the states with the greatest number of people have the greatest number of chiropractors. So the states with the highest number of chiropractors includes California, Florida, Texas, and Illinois. The government is actually predicting a 4% increase in the number of chiropractors over the next 10 years. This is about on par with the average occupation. So chiropractors are expected to grow at a pretty steady rate over the next 10 years, reaching about 51,000 jobs in 2029. Now, one thing I really like doing is I like to gauge how competitive this occupation is. And one way I like to do this is I like to compare the number of employed chiropractors with the number of job openings. So there were about 35,000 employed chiropractors in 2019. When I did a search on Indeed.com searching for chiropractors in the United States, I found about 1,400 job openings. This would mean that there is 1 job opening for every 26 employed chiropractors. This means that there definitely isn't a shortage of chiropractors. In fact, it seems to be pretty competitive. That's one of the higher ratios I have seen. It is much higher than social workers. Actually, it's higher than lawyers, surprisingly, and it is much higher than any of the surgeons. For example, oral surgeons, that's the lowest ratio I have seen. For oral surgeons, there is 1 job opening per 5 employed oral surgeons. Whereas with chiropractors, there is 1 job opening per 26 employed chiropractors, so much more competitive. So what kind of people actually become chiropractors? If you haven't taken a RIASEC or figured out your Holland codes yet, definitely do. There's quite a few free assessments online. This way you can compare your interests with people that work in various occupations. For chiropractors, they score really high in the social and investigative themes. People that score high in the social theme tend to describe themselves as helpful, cooperative, kind, cheerful, and patient. They're motivated by helping, empowering, and instructing others. People that score high in the investigative theme tend to describe themselves as thoughtful, analytical, intellectual, complex, and independent. and they are often motivated by inquiring, analyzing, and researching. So as you can see, there are pros and cons to becoming a chiropractor in 2020. Wages have not been steadily growing for employed chiropractors. This is one of the few occupations where wages actually declined for quite a number of years. But if you're entrepreneurial minded and you want to own your own practice, 31% of chiropractors own their own companies. This is a very high rate. This is actually much higher than dentists, plumbers, electricians. This means almost 1 out of every 3 chiropractors owns their own practice. So one way to make more money, and a lot of chiropractors recommend this, is to own your own business. The job market for employed chiropractors has grown over the past 2 decades. In fact, the number of employed chiropractors has tripled just in 2 decades. But when I did do a search on Indeed.com, I did find that there is 1 job opening per 25 employed chiropractors. So this does seem like a pretty competitive occupation. Other similar occupations that people go into: physical therapist, occupational therapist. There's definitely other options out there. Are you a chiropractor? What has been your experience in this occupation? What do you enjoy about it, and what do you dislike about it? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.